Hi, my name is Mick Pana and I'm continuing my series of videos on go-to-market strategy. The last video was about the purpose of business and why the purpose of business is actually to create a customer, not to find a customer, not to create profit, not to create revenue, but actually to create a customer. So today I would like to talk about how do you create a customer? What does it mean to create a customer? A better question is, how do you create a customer? To create a customer means to identify the need, create a demand in the market, and design the product or service that fulfills that demand. Ultimately, the customer determines the value of the product or service as a result of profitability of the company. Customers vote with their money. Attention is a valuable currency as well. Some of the most successful companies in the last decades were built on aggregating the attention of a large number of people. The examples are Google, Facebook, to name just a few. Attention is easy to monetize. So spending time on a particular resource, platform, or tool is an act of voting. It's a good, or in some cases even better than monetary transaction. We provided tons of our personal data when we use Facebook, and the more Facebook knows about us, the more targeted the ads are that they sell. In physical world, it's much more difficult to estimate customer buying power or intent. Starting a new company is hard, in part because it's difficult to convince large enough group of people to buy a new product or capture their eyeballs. Creating customers means creating a demand. While your customers can experience the pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that demand exists in the marketplace. The crucial distinction between customer pain and demand is that even if the customer understands the pain, they might not have a clear idea of how to solve this problem and with what product. Market demand implies that the customers understand exactly what they need to solve their problem. You can even say that demand exists on the market when customer demands a solution for a problem. By definition, every true new market has zero demand. The history of evolution for products and markets that has been around for a while can provide a great insight. When Henry Ford started selling Model T at masses, many, if not everyone, understood the pain of getting from one destination to another. However, not many viewed cars as a solution to this problem. There was no demand for cars. What Henry Ford did, and what every startup founder hopes to do since, is to blend an idea of the pain or desire with a solution by educating potential customers on how it can improve their lives or makes them happier. Customer education is the main challenge that the company entering the market or creating category faces. More on this later. Educating customers is an essential part of demand creation. It's not about pleasing customers using any tactics possible. It's not about bluntly implementing every customer request. It is about understanding customer pains, needs, desires, and educating them on how to reach the desired outcome. Empathy plays an important role in understanding people you're trying to serve. Another important point is that not every pain, need, or desire has economically valuable solution. It's possible that the solution production cost is higher than the pain it solves. Over time, this may change, which is why you hear a lot about the right timing in the startup world. Technology and market forces can change rapidly to enable solutions that previously weren't economically valuable compared to problems they solved. For example, many entrepreneurs recognize that managing bookmarks in your browser is a messy and convoluted process. There were hundreds of startups, I remember hundreds of startups trying to build products to help people manage bookmarks and save links in a more productive way. More of them failed because the pain that they were trying to elevate wasn't big enough for potential customers that already had their own system in place. Over the years, people found their own system of capturing links and resources and categorizing them. Furthermore, the size of the customer segment that would be willing to pay for a solution was small. Not every problem is big enough and economically valuable enough to require a solution. It is widely accepted that Reed Hastings, the CEO and founder of Netflix, envisions a streamlined service back in the 90s. However, technology and infrastructure weren't not ready to transmit video entertainment via the web. The genius of Netflix team was that they figured out a stepping stones in the middle before the larger vision was valuable from economic and technical standpoint. Netflix offered DVD rentals and built a loyal customer base starting in 1998, and only 9 years later, in 2007, technology caught up to implement their vision of streaming service, and their streaming service was launched. That's why startups are so difficult. They have to create a customer, which means creating non-existent demand by matching customer needs and wants with product capabilities. The customer might not be aware of the need or want that they want until the product or service are introduced to the market. Who knew that we need a better way to connect with friends before Facebook came along? Was anybody looking for a better work communication tool before Slack came along? Do you know anyone who was looking how to share what they had for lunch in 140 characters before Twitter? I highly doubted that. Often we don't know what we need or want as a customers, but we definitely know whether we want something or not when we see it. And asking customers about what they want won't necessarily get you anywhere close to building a financially successful product. As a marketer, founder, or business person, it's your job to understand customers well enough to come up with the solutions that will be valuable to them. To create a customer means to find a need or want and figure out a way to satisfy it with a new product, business model, service, or all of them at once. The important caveat, however, is that customer needs and wants need to be addressed at cost below the value that the customer is willing to pay. In order to build a sustainable long-term business, the value put in a product innovation and marketing needs to be lower than the value that the customer gets out of the product. The fact that there are many people that experience similar pain, needs, or desire doesn't mean that there is a demand for a specific solution. Quite often, you can hear startups equating pain to the market demand. A logic of the founder who says that demand exists because there are so many who experience this problem is misleading. Demand exists when the people know or are actively looking for an exact solution. The gap between the pain, needs, and desires is breached with a customer education. The customer comes before the profit. Often organizations make decisions that benefit the company and not the customer. Many of us, I'm sure, said at the meetings discussing sales, marketing, or product strategy, only to realize that we are no longer focused on the customers. Let's add a question to the lead form and ask what industry or what country the prospect is coming from. It will help us route the right leads to the right team and salespeople. Sure, but will it help prospect in any way? The answer is most likely no. The perfect illustration of how we don't always have the customers in mind when we develop products and marketing campaigns is the rise of lead generation forums. In the early 2000s, to gate our marketing content, we used lead generation forms. Imagine somebody asking you to provide your name and phone number in order to enter a retail store. That sounds wild and crazy, but this is exactly what I have been doing in the last couple of decades when it comes to marketing software. What even worse is that we have built the whole marketing automation industry to help us nurture, score, filter while sending them tons of emails. By them, I mean customers here. Instead of providing our content for free and educating our customers and encouraging them to share our point of view, we block them from consuming our content. It is difficult enough to get the attention of anyone in a sea of distractions and limitless amounts of free content. Proactively gating your own content limits its reach and education impact on the marketplace. Market demand is created through education, and the more effort it takes for customers to access your resources, the harder it is to generate market demand. It's no surprise that a large portion of data that marketers get from a long lead generation form is bogus or incorrect. You haven't provided customers with any helpful information, but you're already asking them to share their contacts. But did you know that in a golden age of retail in the early 20th century, stores didn't display prices? Even more, retail stores didn't display their products in a window. They wanted customers to come in, ask to see their products. A salesperson would look at a potential customer and assess their social status. Then they would bring a piece of clothing and make up the price according to their guesses to the buyer's wealth. So one buyer could give a price of $5 and another could get a price of $25 for the same item. Today, this approach sounds pretty crazy, but it's exactly what happened back in the days. The software industry is only a few decades old. We can draw some parallels between the retail industry a century ago and the software in the last couple of decades. In both instances, companies created a barrier for customers to see and try the product. Marketing sales of SaaS and enterprise often worked the same way or even worse. Just imagine, in order to enter a store and to get the marketing brochure, you have to share your personal contact information. This doesn't sound very enticing for the customers. First, a company creates customers, and then how well it's done can be measured with a revenue and profit. In a famous speech, David Packard, a co-founder and CEO of Hewlett and HP, said, "None of the company's objectives can be accomplished unless the company makes profit." Profit, according to Packard, is a measure of contribution to the customer. It's a measure of what customers are willing to pay over and above the actual cost of the product. So to summarize, when we think about how we create customers, it's about education. It's about education about how do we understand your need and problem, or what kind of value we want you to provide, and educate the customers. Or sometimes the education actually starts with just giving the product in their hands or some prototype of the product and let them play around with it, and they get sort of the first exposure to the product. And that's one of the first and essential principles of how do you create a customer. You create the customer through education, through messaging, through communicating to the customer about your product, the needs it solves or the value it provides, and does it as broadly as possible for you to reach enough customers for actually understand that and then create demand for your products and services. Thank you so much. I hope you appreciate this. Please like, and I would also like to announce that I have a course on how to conduct customer interviews. In this course, I'm providing strategic and tactical advice on how to talk to your customers, how to make those conversations valuable, and how to understand the context in which customer creates or has the problem that you're trying to solve, and how to use this information to build the better products and to build a better marketing strategy. So it also touches on how to set up interviews, how to actually conduct those interviews, how to ask questions that are not leading. So if you're interested in that, please, there's going to be a link below. Check it out, and I hope you find it helpful. Any feedback is appreciated. Next time, we're going to continue the go-to-market core concept videos the next time. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day and you get shit done.